you got to give it up for the Lions, right? You got to give it up for Jared Goff, for Dan Campbell, City of Detroit. Just impressive win. Happy for this is like I think the feel good story of the NFL in the playoffs. I think, right, because with just everything that they've had to battle through, with everything that Jared Goff has had to battle through, and the narratives around him, and Dan Campbell and how everyone kind of laughed at Dan Campbell in his opening press conference, and now you look at where they are and making it to the second round of the playoffs when teams like the Cowboys and the Eagles are out, and it's pretty cool to see a team like this, kind of move on and advance. And I think I think in this game for me, you start off with Jared Goff. He played hell of a game. I think that you look at, 22 out of 27 for 277 yards. He was efficient. He was important in these key moments, especially that last game ceiling throw. He definitely was the right guy for this team. And, he's the quarterback now that the Detroit fans can stand behind. And, they stood behind Matty Stafford for such a long time. And finally they got their own guy that can, lead them through the playoffs, and hopefully they do make it a little further. But I think in this game, you got to look at also the defense, right? That the defense in the red zone this game I thought was crucial. They held the Rams to just field goals instead of touchdowns. I mean, that was probably the most important part in getting a win, right? You look on the other side, and the Rams, they were, I think they were pretty banged up, and Stafford just was kind of banged up there, but he kind of kept pushing on, and he got wrecked on a couple of sacks. But overall, I think just the Lions, led by Dan Campbell, and the culture he's created, and the way that he's coached, it's very aggressive and hard-nosed, and going forward on fourth downs and faking punts and just things like that. It's the identity of who the Lions are right now, and it's really cool to watch. It's a fun brand of football, and this game, there was a really gutsy win. I thought that to win by one, to hang in there, and to really pull it off, it's the opposite of the same old Lions over the past years. It's the brand new Lions, right? And this atmosphere that they played in was probably a huge, another thing that was probably the huge contributor to the success. It was an incredible atmosphere. Even watching it through the TV, you see just how just out of their minds the fans were for this game. And it was cool. It was a cool thing to watch. You got Eminem in the audience, Barry Sanders, Megatron in the audience. A lot of really cool Detroit Lions fans and legends in the audience there. But I think, again, just going back to the way that this game I felt like was won was just Jared Goff making the plays that he needed to make, and he didn't try to do too much, I don't think. And the defense really making that red zone stops that they needed to make in order for the Rams to take points off of the board for the Rams and settle for field goals. So I think this Lions team, especially you're led by Dan Campbell, and he's the guy, he's the coach, he's the leader of that team. Being able to rally this group of people or group of players around and show that his way of coaching is very effective for this team in Detroit. They could be dangerous too, right? And you look at just throughout the season how they've been able to put teams away and really come away with victories that maybe in past years they wouldn't. It's been impressive. And honestly, who knows what they're able to do and moving forward here. They got the Bucks, and the Bucks are not a team to sneeze at, right? They just took down the Eagles pretty handedly, and they've got a good challenge going up against the Bucks there. But I think if the Lions defense can really hold Baker down and shut down Evans, and it's not an easy task to do that, but if they could really stop Evans, stop Godwin, take away Baker's comfortability in the pocket, then they have a chance to do some damage. So we'll see how that game turns out. But credit to the Lions in this game, not just for winning the game, but for basically pulling off something that over the past 65 years, I think it was I think the stat was if you're over 65, if you're under 65 years old, you've never seen the Lions win a playoff game or something. But it's a cool thing for the fans of Detroit and the city of Detroit to experience all of this. So happy for them and happy for them to get the win and move on.